Buenos días, buenas tardes, comunidad de LEC. Soy Iván Ramírez. I'm Iván Ramírez, Community Engagement Director for the Latinx Education Collaborative and Expresión Storytelling Fellowship Lead. I am joined today by Dr. Johnathan Montalvo Roman, Expresión Storytelling Fellow. Johnathan, ¿cómo estás?
Estoy muy bien. ¿Y tú qué tal? ¿Cómo estás, Iván?
Bien, disfrutando aquí un sábado. Fue una semana larga.
Chévere.
Pero no, estoy bien. El clima ya se está arreglando un poquito. Tengo planes de ir a caminar más tarde con mi perro. So it's good. Life is good.
Excelente. Sí, ya por lo menos llega la primavera. Qué bien, ¿no?
Ya. Bueno, estamos aquí para conocerte. We're here to get to know you, get to know our different storytelling fellows. 13 of them are part of the 2024 cohort. Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know 3 descriptors about you, but we want to know more. Your descriptors are caring educator, mentor, and student success professional. But let us know more about your personal and professional experience and journey.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I am a first generation student, Latino, queer Latino. I identify as part of the LGBTQ community. I'm originally from Puerto Rico. I've been in the United States for 20 years now. So I came to this country to the mainland when I was a teenager. And so I was partially educated in Puerto Rico and partially educated in the US. Um, so yeah, and I was a Spanish teacher for about 14 years, and I recently went through a transition. I am now a Hispanic Achievement Liaison for a local high school here in Maryland.
Okay. How was that transition from coming from Puerto Rico, the island, the weather, and then going to Maryland up north?
Yeah. Well, I moved to the Chicago area first with my family. So I've been in Maryland for about 4 years. But before that, I was mostly in the Midwest. It was a very tough transition at the beginning. I come from a very rural town in Puerto Rico, in the center of the island, and there's a lot of assumptions that people make when they meet a Puerto Rican. They assume that Puerto Ricans are automatically bilingual, and that was not my case. So I had to learn English when I moved to the U.S. Um, so I had to learn the language as a teenager. It was really tough to be removed from everything you knew back in Puerto Rico and having to navigate a new culture, a new language, and meeting new people, and not only that, but also like making sure that I went to college and um, that I was setting up myself for success. Which was something very important for my family
You,
back. So yeah, but we made it.
you did, and then you've done amazing. I was reading a master's, and you started your PhD. So I bet you're inspiring to many of us that still want to attain that final degree. I want to know what inspired you to become a teacher.
Well, I cannot pinpoint exactly what it was. I just know that since I was a little kid, I knew I wanted to become a teacher. I didn't know what level or what I wanted to teach, but I knew that I had to be in the classroom at the beginning or at first. Um, but I think if I had to like answer that question, it would be like probably the great teachers that I had growing up when I was a kid. I was very fortunate to have really excellent teachers and really good role models when I was growing up. So I think they probably inspired me a lot. And also later on, in when I was in high school and when I came to the US, when I saw the opportunity of becoming the first one in my family to even finish high school, I saw that as an opportunity to like motivate myself and like go that extra mile and become a teacher and hopefully motivate others or educate others, and encourage them to to do well in life, particularly my Latino students.
Yeah, those experiences that make ourselves, they're important. That's why having teachers that are of different backgrounds are important also. Uh,
Indeed, for sure.
yes, yeah. So our students see themselves reflected and they can see possibilities.
Yes.
Uh, how does your Latinx identity influence your teaching approach?
Wow. Every day.
Yeah.
So like I said, I'm not a teacher right now, but I'm still teaching or education adjacent position.
Yeah.
So, but when I was a Spanish teacher, basically my identity as a Latino was being used every day by teaching the culture, by teaching about the diversity of the Latinx community, from different socioeconomical statuses, different political views, different political processes in Latin America. Um, Also, like the diversity within the Latinx as far as like race, about teaching about LGBTQ communities in Latin America, indigenous communities. So like I try to use all the identities that inhabit me to put them in the center and amplify the voices of those who may share similar lived experiences that I did. So, and I make sure that I told my students, and I will share those stories with my students as well. So,
Yeah, yeah. No, this is a good.
so like for me, it was very important that students will always know who I was as a queer Latino educator. So,
Mhm. It's a good segue into this next question, and how do you plan to empower the people that you work with, the students, your community, your educational community, as your role as a storytelling fellow?
yeah. Well, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this fellowship was to like be more confident when telling those stories. Uh, at the beginning, I was a little more shy and afraid to share my story because like I didn't want to be perceived as a self-centered person. But I realized that it is important. It is important to put those stories to the front and make sure that I am unapologetically myself, and that's exactly how I want to empower my students to make sure that they, through my story and through the stories of their peers, they feel empowered and they feel that their stories are worth um, telling and sharing with others, and hopefully inspire other people with their own stories. So that's what I'm hoping for with this fellowship.
You were also a storytelling fellow, or the Golden Door. Can you tell me more? And
Yeah.
I don't know about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was a storyteller guest. I cannot remember exactly, maybe 2 years ago, with an organization called the Golden Door here in Baltimore, and uh, it was a great experience. It was just the first days that I had in with storytelling, and it was a wonderful experience. It was very vulnerable for me to put myself in that position and be able to share the story. It was like the first time that I shared the story with people that were outside of my circle, people who may jump into the Zoom link and were like learning about myself for the first time, and it was really cathartic. It was also very cathartic, and I enjoyed it very much. And that's why I was when I saw the opportunity to apply for this fellowship, and when I got in, I was really excited to continue that journey that I started a few years ago, 2 years ago, I think. Yeah.
I'm sure, as you saw from our orientation, that this will be a very enriching opportunity
Mhm.
experience, and then hopefully will enhance those skills that you already started working on with the Golden Door. Um, uh, one of the last questions is, how does engaging in storytelling as a practice of freedom?
That's a very difficult question. I think for me, the ability to just be able to be vulnerable, I think that that's the closest you can be to freedom. I think when you can be vulnerable, when you can feel that you can be your authentic self, that in itself it's freedom. And I think that when you do that through storytelling, or using storytelling, will allow you to do that,
Yeah.
to achieve that sense of freedom. So that would be uh, how I can better answer that question, honestly.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. No. It is liberating to be able to be yourself and to bring your full authentic self when you're, yeah, especially when you're telling those stories and students might be listening, or your colleagues might be listening. So, yes. What message, through your storytelling, what message do you hope your community? Uh,
Yeah, I
motivate
want the community to know that it is okay to be their unapologetic self by centering your own stories. It is totally fine to share your stories and be your authentic self at all the time. So
with.
that will be the main message for my community. So
No, thank you for that, especially during times like this where the world seems crazy or we have to put
yeah,
ourselves in the shadows. I mean, it is important to really harness that power that everyone has within themselves. As we learn, there's always assets, individual that we have as individuals. I think this is it. Any final words before we close this spotlight?
no, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity. I look forward to learning to build confidence from this opportunity. And for those people who are thinking about joining some kind of a storytelling practice, please do it. It's going to be life changing, and it's going to provide you with so many tools to empower other people. Especially if one of your passions is empowering others, I highly recommend engaging in storytelling. I think it's life changing. So thank you for the opportunity. I'm
No,
really
no.
excited.
Thank you for being with us. I know the teams of the Linux Education Collaborative and Storytellers for Change, we're excited to meet our new cohort and co-craft different stories that will empower and then will inspire students and probably teachers alike. But yeah, hopefully you have a nice day. It seems like a nice day, and then we'll see you around. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye.